everybody, Weldon Long here. Welcome to the weekly show, another edition of training and motivation, inspiration for you and your team to stay on focus, to stay on point, and create the results that you deserve. Today we have a very special guest with us here in the show. Mr. John Ketchell is with us here in the studio. If you don't know John, he's one of our coaches, our magnanimous coaches. How are this morning, Johnny Ketchell?
Aces, how you doing?
Aces, he's aces.
He's
right?
aces.
Yeah. So I got John on the show today because we're going to be talking about some of the new programming that we have here at EGIA.org Contractor University. Some of the new programs have been rolling out over the summer. We worked for months and months and months, myself and Gary, John and Andy, all of us worked together to produce some new programming, edit that stuff, and get it prepared for you and your team so that you can accomplish the things you need to accomplish in your company. Before I get too much into the actual programs, which we're going to talk about, I wanted to talk about generally the concept, the necessity of consistent and ongoing training. You know, Zig Ziglar once said that training is like eating. You have to do it on an ongoing basis. It's also really important that you have everybody in your company, you know, kind of locked in arms and moving in the same direction. That's why we've, produced these various programs along leadership and CSR training, sales training, tech training, finance training, training on how to price your goods and services, all those various topics, because we know that everybody in your company needs to be moving in the same direction. One of the things that we know is that consistent results in business comes from consistent activities, consistent operational activities, consistent training activities. We got to be doing these things on a regular basis. That's why here at EGIA, not only do we have just the core 10 training programs, which we'll be talking about over the next week or two, but also we have the ongoing weekly television shows. This guy right here, we're setting up some new programs where you get to talk to some of the experts live every week on a telephone call. We have our live events from the country that will be kicking off after the first of the year. All of these you have access to as an EGIA member, and all of them are part and parcel of the comprehensive integrated program we've developed to help you get to where you want to go in your company. So what I want to do now, John, is you have been intimately involved in this process of helping us organize this content and create this content over the summer. So I wanted to have John just kind of walk us through some of the programs. We may not get through all of them on today's show. If not, we'll talk about them some more next week. But we wanted to give you an idea of what's available for you and for your team, and what's in each program. So John, kind of kick us off here and get us started. Show us what you got.
So certainly we're going to stick with the oldies but goodies, the prosperity mindset and the in-home sales training.
Okay.
And the way that we get to that is we're going to navigate to the online training platform,
Okay.
which is in your training dashboard. So click your training dashboard. Once that loads, you will have the option to view the online classes. It's one of the 6 options, but we want you to start with the online classes first.
And all this content is available on your mobile device, which is really important because your guys might be out in the field, they want to watch a program or watch some role play videos, whatever, and they can do it right there on their smartphone.
Absolutely. You got a little downtime, you get a little training done.
Yep.
So we're going to go into the prosperity mindset.
Okay.
And in our classic learning management system format, the idea is we get a little bit of video content, and then we have some testing. It forces you to reflect on the key points within the video content and also solidifies those memories. In addition to that, we have a level of accountability because we're able to track the progress of each individual as they go through the program.
Yep.
In addition to that, we also are able to make the training a little more effective because if we see somebody that is struggling in a particular section, it's indicated by maybe they have to take the test a couple times, then we know to focus a little more training on there.
Right. Well, why don't you do this for me, John? Let's cut back over the screen flow, and I want you to bring up the Prosperity Mindset program. Oh, you have it right there.
That's
so
it.
What I want you to see here, folks, is John begins to open up each of these particular lessons. There's about, I think, 24 or 25 total modules. Is that correct? Could you just open all those up?
Absolutely.
So what happens, I mean, this is laid out in just a systematic linear way. You click the first module, you watch the video, and we can't run the video probably on the latency but just if you could just click on that so they can see the video. You click on that, you watch the first video. This particular video is just a welcome video. You'll click take the test at the end of the video, which you'll see a little button here. And you take the test, it's a multiple choice question. So you'd watch the first video here, then scroll down, you click, take the test, right, or the quiz rather, and that takes you to a page where you see your grade and then advances you automatically on to the next module. There's a total in this particular mindset training of about 24 modules, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So now those 24 modules will work out to about 3 hours in real time, right? So you might take this program all at one time. You could take it a couple of modules a week. But here's what I want to talk about, why it's so important. The prosperity mindset is the key to the kingdom. It's the reason that we recommend that everybody in your company goes through the prosperity mindset training. This program is based on my New York Times best-selling book, The Power of Consistency. And it's about creating the mindset that knows how to thrive in the face of adversity. When you think about it, every time one of our service technicians, every time one of our salespeople go into a house, they're going to face adversity, right? We're going to face homeowners who want a cheap price, homeowners who want 3 bids, homeowners who want to think about it, sleep on it, do whatever it is, right? Those are obstacles that our guys are going to face. They're also going to face cheap competitors. They're going to face the weather sometimes. It's not really cooperating. Sometimes they'll face homeowners who have poor credit. These are all challenges that our salespeople and technicians are going to come up against. The reality is we have to learn how to be prosperous and successful in the face of those challenges. You know, those challenges aren't going to go away. If we think that sales are going to get better when our customers magically get better or the weather magically gets better, then we might be waiting a long time. We have to learn to thrive in the face of that adversity. That's what the prosperity mindset training is all about. It's a program that teaches your people how to take personal responsibility for their results, to take personal responsibility for the quality of their lives, and to take responsibility for thriving in the face of those challenges. You know, the reality is we have, mediocre performers and great performers, sometimes in the same company. So you got 2 guys, one producing, at a very mediocre level, one guy kicking ass and taking names, in the same company, same leads, same economy, same town, same everything. Why is it that one guy can perform at such a high level and one guy struggles? Because it's an inside job. It's a different mindset. So the prosperity mindset is critically important for your team on the service side and the sales side. But it's also critically important for everyone in your company. I don't care if it's a warehouse manager to your financial manager to your CSRs to everybody in the company, because everybody faces challenges. In the sales situation, we face homeowners who want those 3 bids, et cetera, et cetera. But on a personal level, we all face personal challenges, money issues, relationship issues, health issues. How do we thrive in the face of those adversities? How do we have these challenges in our lives, yet we still come in and fulfill our professional responsibilities at a very high level, taking responsibility for our own productivity and our own results? That's what the prosperity mindset is all about. So we encourage everybody to start with that program. Stop and go through those modules 2 or 3 a week, or do it all as a company in 1/2 a day, however you want to do it. But the reality is everybody needs the prosperity mindset. So, John, just, I'd like to get your input on that as well.
Sure.
You've been around our program for
Absolutely.
many years, and it seems much longer than it actually has been.
Yeah, it probably
You're
does,
a real
doesn't
hard
it?
case to deal with. No, John's a wonderful guy. But the reality is, you've been around our program. You've probably seen me speak 100 times.
Absolutely.
And just from your perspective and working with contractors, and John works with hundreds of contractors, of clients of ours. What's your impression of the importance of the prosperity mindset and how it's impacted some of your clients?
It's tremendous. Honestly, I think that the systems that we have, the analogy that comes to my mind is building an ultimate race car, Formula One race car. But if you don't have any gas in the car, it's going nowhere. So it doesn't matter. The other thing is we talk to contractors all the time, and we talk to their guys, and the thing is the cheap price, the cheap price, the cheap price. It doesn't matter. There could be a Bentley in the driveway, and they're asking for a discount. And until they understand that, look, everybody's going to do that. You have to deal with that, and understand that that value is something that they truly want, and you have to, kind of deal with that objection that comes up right off the bat. You need that prosperity mindset to kind of force your way through that as well.
Yeah.
The other things too are process. We are huge fans of process here. Without a consistent process, you can't get consistent results. Yep. And we teach process and systems through every course that we do. And then of course, getting emotionally committed. Getting emotionally committed to that process and understanding that the process is going to be the vehicle that gets you to what you're emotionally looking for in life. And that's going to be different for everybody.
Right. And when your team goes through the prosperity mindset training, part of the exercises, part of the assignments they'll have will be to develop specific goals they want to accomplish in their life, both on a personal and professional level. We have to have a specific goal we're reaching for. So we're going to train your people, your service technicians, your salespeople, to have specific financial goals, specific sales goals that they're looking for. I'm going to teach them in the prosperity mindset that instead of being afraid of going in the house and getting a no from your customer, maybe we go in with the idea of trying to get a no, trying to get as many no's as we can. I mean, think about this. What if your service technician, their objective was to get their homeowner to say no to at least 3 accessories or 3 additional repairs, right? Yep. Now, if they ask, or if they're going to get these 3 no's, that means they had to ask. And what happens, once they start asking, they start getting some yeses.
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
So the idea is don't be afraid of the no. Listen, yes is best in a sales call or a service call. No is a perfectly acceptable answer. It's the I don't knows and the I'll call you back next Tuesdays that kill us. The reality is we know you cannot count on next Tuesday. You may get the occasional call back from a homeowner the following week, But the reality is you cannot build wealth and success and prosperity on the be-backs and the callbacks. The reality is, as Napoleon Hill said one time 100 years ago, that poverty and struggle will come find you. Wealth and success must be pursued, right? So we just can't sit back and expect wealth and success to come to us. We have to go after it. If we sit back, then what will happen is that poverty and struggle will come knocking on our door one day and visit, themselves upon us. We got to go after the things that we want. So that's what the prosperity mindset is all about. Again, my book, The Power of Consistency, it was #5 on New York Times and #2 in Wall Street Journal business bestseller, #1 Amazon bestseller. And the reason that book has been so successful is because the principles are so powerful and yet they are so simple, everyone can implement them.
And absolutely universal.
Absolutely, yes. So John, prosperity mindset, we always recommend people go through that first
Absolutely.
because that's the foundation. What are the next programs you typically, with working with a client or a contractor?
Sales.
Okay,
Yeah.
the in-home selling process. So kind of describe what that is, and then I'll kind of talk about how I
Absolutely.
developed that program.
So the in-home sales process is a very consistent, thought-out process in communicating the values that your company stands for. We know we can do the job great. We just have to communicate that to our customers.
Right.
We also have to build trust as we go through this process. We're going down sort of a little bit of a journey, the sales hallway, so to speak.
Yep.
And we're building trust as we go. If we think about the leads that we have, we know that we close our tech turnover leads much more easily because those customers have been dealing with us and they have that level of trust. We have to build that trust in the 90 minutes on the marketing lead, and that's what the in-home sales process is about.
Right.
And then, of course, there's the sales hallway, which I'm going to let you describe
Yep.
because that is your process.
Yeah, and it's funny because I developed this process, as most of you know. I started my company in 2004 and grew it to $20 million in total revenue in just 5 years. The reason I was able to do that is twofold. Number one, everybody in my company had the prosperity mindset, because if they didn't have the prosperity mindset, they weren't going to be at that company very long, right? We expect people to have high expectations for themselves and for others. We expect people to hold each other accountable. We expect people to be responsible for their results. But once we have the right mindset, then we have to give them the actual sales process to create those results. And again, consistent sales results only come from a consistent sales process, right? If I want consistent results, I have to have some type of process. We all know the importance of a process. If you think about your installation guys, if your install guys went out to do an install and had no process, had no system whatsoever, just started yanking equipment out and throwing equipment back in, what would the quality of the installations look like? Not very good, right? So we understand that on an installation technical mechanical level. But the same is true on a sales call. And when I talk about sales call, I'm talking about a selling technician or a sales consultant, either one, same process. But the reality is, if they go in randomly running their sales call, they're going to get the same results as an installer who randomly installs a system. It's not going to be a high quality result. So if we go into a sales call, and sometimes we talk about this first, and sometimes we talk about that first, and sometimes the homeowner wants to talk about money here, and sometimes they want to talk about price there. We just kind of let the homeowner take over the whole process. Well, we're going to have really bad results. And if our results are inconsistent, like right now, let's say, some months are good, some months are bad, some, up and down and up and down, those are by definition random results. Well, guess what, folks? Random results are coming from one place. Random activities, right? It ain't rocket science. And so we take the sales process, and again, I keep it super simple. All of this is based on simple principles. One of my favorite quotes was from Steve Jobs, who built Apple computers. And before he passed away, he was asked, why are you so successful? And he said, it's focus and simplicity. Focus and simplicity. And so, the prosperity mindset will get people focused on the right priorities, but in the sales process, we got to keep it simple. We break it down to its most basic elements. There's 4 components of the sales process, and this is true. I don't care what you're selling, what industry, doesn't matter if you're a service technician, an installer, it doesn't matter. When you're selling, there's 4 main components. Number 1, build a relationship. We always have to build a relationship. It's part and parcel of sales, right? People buy from people they like and trust. You got to build a relationship. The second component is investigate the problems. We have to investigate all the problems in the house. In fact, I don't know if we can run it right now. Probably I'm throwing some stuff at Andy out of the blue. But I'd love to run the shoulder doctor video here. Maybe we can edit that in or something. But the bottom line is that when we walk in the house, we got to take a broad perspective, right? We got to take a wide perspective. We don't want to just go in and fix the single problem the homeowner called us about, right? Because they're not going to see all the problems. What we have to do is we have to be able to look at all the problems in the course of the house. It sounds like Andy, he's a miracle worker. He's already got that video queued up. So take a quick look here at the shoulder doctor video. Then we're going to come back and talk about it a little bit more. Residential HVAC service technicians spend a lot of time in places like this. Funny thing is, on their way through mechanical rooms to get here, they walk past thousands of dollars in additional repairs and accessory sales. Why do they do it? Because they have blinders on and they just don't see the opportunities. Imagine this scenario. Suppose you had a problem with your shoulder. You go to the doctor, he takes an x-ray of your shoulder, he gives you some kind of shot, you're good as new. The crazy thing is though, the day after they fix your shoulder, you have a massive heart attack. It almost kills you. They rush you off to ICU, you're in ICU for weeks and weeks, you can't work, your medical bills go to the ceiling, your family's all upset. I mean, it's really major trauma. It turns your whole life upside down. A couple of months in the ICU, you see the shoulder doctor walking down the hallway. You lean over and you say, "Hey, shoulder doc, what are you doing?" He looks in the ICU, he sees you laid there on the monitors and all the machinery, and he looks at you and he says, "What happened to you?" And you say, "Doc, it's the craziest thing. The day after you fix my shoulder, I have a massive heart attack. It almost killed me." The shoulder doctor looks at you and says, "Well, I'm not surprised. I thought you were going to have a heart attack the day you were in my office." And you say, "What? You knew I was going to have a heart attack?" The shoulder doctor says, "Yeah, your heart was skipping beats. It was bouncing all over the place. I thought it was going to explode right there in my office." You turn to the doctor and you say, "Doc, why didn't you tell me I was fixing to have a heart attack?" The shoulder doctor looks at you and says, "Hey, pal, you came to see me about your shoulder." How would you feel about your doctor if he fixed your shoulder and ignored your heart attack? You wouldn't like it very much, would you? Because we have an expectation that the professionals in our lives, if they find out about additional problems, they bring them to our attention. But you know what? Our service technicians are doing that every day. They go in with a laser focus to fix the air conditioner or furnace, but they ignore the heart attack going on with the indoor air quality or with the water heater. Why do they do that? Well, because they don't have the training to take advantage of those opportunities. And why don't they have the training? Well, because in most cases, it's too expensive and it just doesn't work. But we fixed that. We've developed programs that are super convenient and affordable. And we've done that through a powerful online platform. So, you know, that video illustrates the point that we don't want to walk in the house and just fix the shoulder. We want to take care of the shoulder, but, you know, we want to be able to look at the whole situation and look at the heart attacks too. We don't want to just fix the shoulder with the furnace or air conditioner. We want to look at the heart attacks with the indoor air quality, with airflow and all these other issues, you know, that we can address. Our responsibility is to walk in the house and look for every problem that heating and air conditioning, indoor air quality, and airflow products can solve. That's our responsibility. So we would have an expectation that our doctor would tell us about a heart attack. Well, we have the same responsibility. If I'm going to walk into the house and I fix the shoulder, I got to look at the heart attack too and let my homeowner know about those problems. So the first step is build a relationship. The second step is to investigate the problems. Investigate all the problems, not just the little ones they call us about. Remember, your homeowners will have blinders on because they have an air conditioning problem. That's all they're thinking about. Meanwhile, they have all these other problems they may not even know about. It's up to us as responsible professionals to find these problems, point them out to our homeowners. So relationship and then investigate. The third step, solve the problem. You have to solve the problem. Whenever you find these 5, 6, 7, 8 problems in a home, you have to solve the problem with your solutions. At the end of the day, in this business, you get compensated based on the number of solutions that you offer to your homeowners. So if I solve one problem, let's say an air conditioning problem, I make X amount of dollars. But if I solve the air conditioning, the high efficiency, the heating, the airflow problem, the indoor air quality problem, obviously I'm going to make more money. So you're compensated based on the number of problems that you solve. If you're going to solve those problems, you have to first identify them, investigate and identify them, and then we have to solve the problems with our variety of solutions. And then we want to present those solutions to the homeowner. The final step, bring the call to a conclusion. It's not always a close because you can't close 100% of your deals, but you can bring every single call to a logical and reasonable conclusion. You know, what I'm trying to accomplish on a sales call, and I teach this in the system, is that I want my homeowner to come down to a final answer, yes or no, but I want them to reach that final decision on me and my company with me sitting right in front of them. Because if I can get them to reach a final decision with me right in front of them, the answer is probably going to be a yes. So the key is to remove the excuses, right? When John earlier talked about the sales hallway, you know, the sales hallway is a metaphor we use for the sales process. You're walking your homeowner down this hallway, but there's all these trap doors, all these secret exits, you know, from the hallway. And behind those doors are, I want to think about it, I want cheaper prices, I want 3 bids. And what happens, our homeowners sneak out of those trap doors, they get out of the sales process by bringing up those excuses. In the process, I'm going to show you how to close those doors, how to close 3 bids, how to close, I want to think about it, how to close, I want a cheaper price before the homeowner brings it up. So when you get down to the end, all the excuses, the doors are closed, the escape routes are shut off. Now they can simply make a yes or no decision and knows a perfectly acceptable answer, but we want to try to get them to reach a final decision. So John, what I'd like to do is kind of turn back to the LMS and kind of show our viewers what that program looks like online. Again, I mentioned that the Prosperity Mindset was around 24 modules. I think the sales module is around 30 or 35 modules.
Yep, it's a little more robust.
What I'd like to do now is just kind of have John kind of walk us through the online platform like we did with the Prosperity Mindset. So John, if you could, just kind of pull that up right there and walk us through. I know there are more modules in the sales training than there were the mindset.
Absolutely.
Kind of walk us through the number of modules and give our viewers an opportunity to kind of see how that works. It works just the same way as the Prosperity Mindset training, but I just wanted to be able to see it.
Right, and once again, it's consistent through the learning management system is in the same format with all the courses, so you don't
we
really
did it the
have
same
to
way
learn
each time.
Absolutely.
Why did we do that? Why would we do such
Probably
consistent
because
things?
consistency is an important thing to us.
And
around
consistent training produces
here. Consistent results.
I love it. I love it
too.
I'm glad we were thinking about that last summer.
Cool.
And for the last several years.
So once again, you have lessons within here, and within the lessons are topics. Same format. You look at a video. You're going to watch the video, and then after the video plays, you're going to be able to see, get the questions answered and follow that progress through.
And then at the end of each module, too, it gives you your grade, and it also gives the grade for your company, the average grade. So you kind of see how you're stacking up against your coworkers. But the video would run, you take the quiz, it automatically advances you to the next module, and I think we have a total of about 35 modules. Again, it's about a 6-hour program, 5 or 6 hour program.
Yep, absolutely.
If you did it all at one setting. The bottom line is what this program is going to do is it's going to allow your folks on service technician, selling technician, or sales consultant, they're going to walk in the house, they're going to have a process from A to Z, and they're going to walk the homeowner down through that sales hallway. They're going to sell your company, they're going to close all those doors, they're going to have all the information they need and all the groundwork they need to do on the sales call to get down to the very end and to use our first close, which is always, will you trust me with this project? Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, all the information we've covered, based on everything I've learned about you and your family, what we're going to do today is to go ahead and get you set up. Will you trust me with this project, right? So it's a real simple close, and you'll learn on that. Listen, this entire sales system is based on high service, not high pressure. This is not a high pressure sales process. This is a high service. You have to be willing to extend yourself emotionally and professionally and do what your competition won't do for your customers. Any final thoughts on the sales process there?
Yeah, so once again, the sales training is the system that's been proven to grow sales for everybody. We just got a great testimonial from one of our clients that went from 28% to 51% closing.
I saw that.
And you know, it's all about the process.
Yep.
I mean, it's all about having a consistent process and, you know, being able to communicate what's important to the homeowner.
Right. You know, the email you're referring to right there, I saw it yesterday. This company, and we will remain nameless until we get permission to mention them, but basically went from about 28% conversion rate to over 50% conversion rate. They did this in 1 year, by the way. And what I thought was the best part, or maybe even as good, I don't know, but they went from around $6,000 average ticket to over $9,000 average ticket. The combination of those two things, all of a sudden they're producing double the revenue on the same number of leads, right? No additional marketing costs, no additional overhead. They just doubled their closing rate and then increased their average ticket by 50%. The company doubled their revenue with no additional leads. I mean, that's crazy. That's how you create real wealth in this program, in this industry. Okay, John, we have time for one more. I think you mentioned you wanted to talk about the Tech Communications course.
Absolutely.
This is a course that was developed by the legendary Gary Elix.
Yes.
Who is one of the...
And yourself.
Well, not quite as legendary as Gary Elix, but you know, I'm working on it. But Gary developed this Tech Communications class, and so talk to us about how that's set up, how long is it, how many modules, we know the format, but talk to us about what folks are going to learn in the Tech Communications class.
So we take the approach that the techs are a little bit different. Their day is a little different, you know, how they run their day and the advantages that they have being in front of the equipment. So we start with making them comfortable with understanding how social styles and communication skills work. Okay. And then we're very, very systematic and process-oriented in everything that we do. We know that they have a process when they go through and diagnose equipment, when they're doing installations and whatnot. So we use that same philosophy to give them a very careful step-by-step process in everything they do. We also make it a little bit easier for them to have those communications. One of the things that we often talk about is earning the right to advance, so that they feel comfortable, because if they don't feel comfortable, they're just not going to do it. Right. So whether it's a repair or replace conversation, whether it's identifying accessories, there's always a step-by-step incremental process to doing that, and it's very laid out, and that's something that they can rely on when they're actually going through this process. Right. They don't have to use as much flexibility and and sort of use those communication skills that maybe a dedicated salesperson might have naturally because they gravitate to that field. So we go through that as well. And once again, Gary Ellick's doing a very systematic process, very easy to follow, very easy to communicate, very easy to teach.
Do you know how many modules are in the tech communications?
There's approximately 32 modules in that
32.
one
So it's probably also 3 or 4 hour course?
Yeah, it's a pretty robust course,
Yeah.
maybe even a little longer.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I mean, just starting with these 3, and you got to start somewhere. I tell people all the time, you can't fix a business problem at the same level of thinking that created the business problem. Actually, that was Albert Einstein, but I've repeated it a number of times. I'm taking ownership of it, right? If your business is not where you want it, your business today is a reflection of your decisions about business over the last however many years. You're not going to change that business at the same level of thinking that got you where you are. You have to elevate your thinking. That's why we're here. I mean, just think about this. If it's taken you years to get where you are, I don't think it's unreasonable to expect it takes another 6 months or a year to completely turn it around. If we just started with those 3 courses we talk about, get your service technicians and your sales guys. Take them to the prosperity mindset, tech communications for the techs, and the sales process for your comfort consultants. I guarantee you, you're going to see dramatic change, and it's going to happen in pretty short order. So set the training schedules up. Talk to your coach here at EGIA. They'll help you set up a schedule to schedule these classes, and you can do it over a couple of weeks or a couple of months, whatever works for your company. But you got to get people involved in this process. You got to get them in there, plug them in, and let the process work for you. Let the process work its magic. Let me have a conversation with them for 4 hours about mindset and personal responsibility and accountability. Those are the things that are going to make a huge difference in your company. So, John, I want to thank you for joining us this week.
My pleasure.
I'll probably have you back again very soon because we got 7 more core courses.
7 more.
Those are just 3 of the ones that we've launched this summer. We've got 7 additional courses, which we'll be talking about over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Have a great week, everybody. Great to see you. We look forward to seeing you again soon. In the meantime, bye-bye for now.